Cheney and sorties in the hundreds. I won't comment on specific weaponry.
Targets bombing near Baghdad, and have we bombed any facilities where we think Saddam Hussein might do?
We have not been targeting Mr. Saddam Hussein. The purpose of our bombing facilities in the area of Baghdad is essentially to go after the command and control system of the Iraqi armed forces, and we're looking at principally military targets, command and control installations, air defense sites that could put our planes at risk, but they are militarily oriented targets.
Any Iraq response of any kind?
The response of the Iraqi forces at this point has been limited, I think would be the best way to characterize it. But again, let me emphasize, as General Powell did, we're in the very early stages of this operation. It is likely to run for a long period of time. I realize you all got legitimate questions about it, but there simply are things we do not know yet because it is an ongoing operation, because pilots are just now returning, and there'll be a lot of work required to assess the success of the initial efforts.
Any indications whatsoever that the Iraqi troops, the 540,000 Iraqi troops in the Kuwaiti theaters, have been cut off from their command and control headquarters in Baghdad?
I wouldn't want to speculate on that at this point.
Mr. Secretary, can I follow up, please? Should I follow up? The President said this was strictly an air operation for the time being. When does the U.S. decide to send in the ground forces?
It is strictly an air operation for the time being, and I wouldn't want to speculate.
I don't want to get into specific target sets yet. As the information comes in and builds over time, we can give it to you historically. We will kind of bomb damage assessment.
Saddam Hussein says tomorrow, I give up, I'm sorry, I will withdraw from Kuwait. Will you have a pause in your air campaign, or will you continue with it until you knock out all the priority targets?
I will do whatever the President of the United States directs us to do through the Secretary of Defense.
Secretary, from a military perspective, what went into your thinking in deciding to launch the attack at this point this evening? What were the factors?
Well, I think that I'm generally of the opinion that we achieved a fairly high degree of tactical surprise.
None to my knowledge.
Mr. Secretary, could you tell us, the President mentioned that one of the objectives was to take out chemical and nuclear sites.
We have, in fact, gone after those targets. I do not yet have information on the effectiveness of those efforts.
Mr. Secretary, what about word of casualties in Baghdad? You indicated you wanted to spare civilians there. Do you have any sense about how that may or may not have occurred?
Was there an Iraqi attempt to launch missiles?
We've had reports of missile launches, but none of them have been confirmed.
What about the Scuds in western Iraq at those air bases on the border?
Yes, they are a fairly high priority target.
And how'd you do
I'm not prepared to say how we did or what we've done so far.
follow up on this? At the end of this operation, this phase of the operation, when you get a little better picture, and could you come back or have someone of your staff come back and give us a briefing on it?
You'll be getting regular briefings, and we'll be, as the Secretary said, we're going to be as forthcoming.
It was better than waiting.
Yes, definitely.
It was better than false hopes.
The question is, were you recording?
Yeah. So one of you's got family or something over there?
Yeah, my brother.
What does that mean? What, you mean there are people out driving around the streets?
Checking from Baghdad in our bureau. It is very quiet right now. It's almost 6 o'clock in the morning. It is still relatively dark, John Holland, and
overall, it's been a good and quick, decisive kind of move on part of the United States and the United Nations. Pardon me?
Your generation, our generation.
Well, economically, it's going to kill us because we're going into a recession, and that just brings down even more with the way it is.
All right, what did you find out about the bombings?
Well, I found out about the bombings about at 1600 hours as soon as it came over the news.
Okay, you're affiliated with the military somehow?
Yes, sir.
How's that?
I'm in the Indiana Army National Guard, and we've been put on alert, and we're all packed and ready to go.
So from your point of view, how's what's going on going to affect you? How do you feel about it?
Well, I have really no opinion about it. It's military runs my life, and they say go, I go. That's how I really feel. If I have to go, I go. I'll serve my country.
You support what's going on?
I support it every bit, because it's pretty stupid to have some lunatic over in Iraq trying to push around the entire world with his little measly army that he's using. It's really stupid.
How do you think this is going to affect your generation, our generation?
Well, economically, it's going to kill us because we're going into a recession, and that just brings down even more with the way it is.
Anything else you want to say?
That's about it for me.
Thanks.
But we want to gauge the reaction of all state students to the announcement and try and get an informed opinion. Your opinions are informed. Well, they are. Well, you know, they're warm right here. Just go ahead and talk to the camera. And
You guys been watching this all night?
Yeah, we've been watching it from most of the evening, like from, what about 6 until now. We're probably going to watch it until daylight breaks in Saudi Arabia. I think it's been a good decision. You know, I mean, there's been a lot of opinions, like they're saying on the television, but I mean, overall, it's been a good and quick, decisive kind of move on part of the United States and the United Nations.
pardon me, comments from you, John?
Not right now.
Any closing comments, or what's your reaction to comments by some people that it's no blood for oil?
I think all that the protesters and stuff, they don't realize what exactly it was that started the whole thing off in the first place. It no longer, and it never really was originally a war about oil. I think it's about a guy going into a hospital and cutting the electricity off and killing 300 babies, you know, and killing people on their doorstep for absolutely no reason. You know, I think the people who are protesting are, in general, a lot misinformed and still living around the Vietnam era when nobody really believed in that war anyway. And I think the time has come that we need to start standing up to some of these aggressors around the world and saying, hey, you know, we're a nation to be reckoned with, and we got to stop the kind of brutality that's going on in society.
I think it did start, though, from the oil. They said a lot at the beginning that it was oil, but now that it's changed from oil, and it's not anything about that anymore at all. And like Terry, I disagree with the people that are saying no blood for oil. But I was also telling him earlier, the oil aspect of it, I think it's the U.S.'s fault, because 10 years ago, and 10 years ago to now, they should have been spending more money developing all the different power sources that we could have had, such as nuclear, solar, other types. Whereas they spent all the money on defense or other projects where they should have been putting it into energy sources, so we wouldn't have all the oil prices rising up and such. But other than that, I agree with him totally on what he's been saying. I'm sorry.
What do you think? Do you think going to war would be like this?
I have no idea, actually. what it's going to be like. It's going to be really different if they do reinstate the draft. That's going to be something else. But I mean, just sitting here watching this and being part of this, I mean, this is something that you remember the rest of your life, and you'll be able to sit there and tell your kids, well, this is what it was like at the time that it happened. And it's really interesting to see what's going on in the world today.
This right what we're living through right now is history in the making. You can't exactly say, well, I'm going to go out and do something else while all this is going on. You can't. What are you going to tell your kids if they ask you, 10 years from now, where were you during the time that this was happening? You at the movies. You can't really say that. You have to become, in tune to what's going on around you.
I think the press is doing an excellent job, especially, you have to commend those guys that are in Baghdad right now. just completely risking their lives for, to inform us over in the United States. I think it's great coverage.
How would you react to Iraqi chemical weapons attack? What do you think our reaction should be?
That's a tough one, really, to me. I think that I personally feel that if Saddam, decides to go ahead and use his chemical weapons, that he has to realize that we have the nuclear power, to contradict that. But it's so I've read a couple articles on that. It's so much divided whether we should, get involved with nuclear or not. So I guess that'll have to be decided when the time comes. No idea.
Do you believe the estimates that it will be a 2-week air battle and that Iraqi resistance will crumble from there on?
I don't. We're really. They said 4 or 5 days. Oh, nothing more than that. But yeah, I don't believe that. Even 2 weeks. 2 weeks is not very much time at all. And Saddam is crazy enough, if you want to call him that, just to keep pushing and pushing until his last soldier's dead. That's the way he comes off to a lot of people. So yeah, as for a short war, I can't see like a 2-week war, but maybe hopefully under 6 months would be great.
In Jerusalem, we may have lost the transmission there at this point in time. So, monitoring the events throughout the evening from our State Department is World Affairs correspondent Ralph Bedwell.
Catherine, I can tell you that Secretary of State James Baker engaged in one last round of diplomacy today before the attack on Baghdad began, but it was not diplomacy aimed at achieving a settlement. It was diplomacy aimed at simply giving notification to a lot of countries who were participating in the strategy against Saddam Hussein and others who were on the periphery of things. Baker spoke with the new Soviet Foreign Minister Alexander Bezmennik, who is in Moscow at the moment, and he also spoke with the here at the State Department, the Saudi ambassador, the Israeli ambassador, the Kuwaiti, the German ambassador.